Hi, well, here I am on this strange day, and it's this time between dry season and rainy season. You see it's kind of cloudy today, it's kind of misty, the humidity is building up, ready to bring in the rains, but we're not quite there yet, so we're still waiting for the rains to come and clear away this misty, humid stuff. I'm back down by the lake again. Obviously we're not having any meetings at the moment, obviously we're not doing any teaching of that kind. I'm still doing online teaching and that kind of thing. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the Trecena of Tz'ikin. So, one of the interesting effects that we've had over the last couple of weeks, since kind of like everybody's stopped moving around so much, is that we hear the birds a lot more. There's a lot less noise in general going on. And I thought, well, maybe I'll come down here by the lake and we can hear the lake and maybe we can hear the birds. I don't know what you can hear in the background going on quite now. There's a little construction going on over there. I hope they don't make too much noise. So, anyway, what's the Trecena of Tz'ikin all about? Well, what's the Nawal Tz'ikin all about? The Nawal Tz'ikin, the Nawal of the birds, the Nawal of vision, of the visionaries. And the Nawal Tz'ikin is about bringing that new vision into the world. Now, I know that over the last few months, years, whatever, I've had people ask me, and when I talk about Tz'ikin being the Nawal of prosperity, they sort of say, well, isn't it a bit more deeper than that? Is there not something which is more important? Now, I think what I would like to kind of like point out is that right now, more than ever, we understand how prosperity and the ability to put food on the table for ourselves, for our families, for our communities is actually vitally important. And I'm going to put some links at the end of this video to help you, if you choose to, send donations to the people of San Pablo, to the people of San Marcos, help to share your prosperity with them, because right now they're in need of it. And this is certainly something that I would say that you will see here. More prosperity means you can put food on the table for your kids. This is a really important thing. So let's have a look at it from that point of view. But from the purer point of view, let's say, there's also something to do with sustainability. And I see this very strongly with the Nawal Tz'ikin. Nawal Tz'ikin gives us the ability to see further. It gives us the ability to see through time, through space. When we look through space, we're looking through time, right? Everything that you see is a wave or a particle, if you want to look at it like that, that has been bounced off something else, and it took some time to get from the object that you're viewing to your retina, and then probably some time from your retina to your brain to your visual cortex or whatever. So everything that we're observing is something which is in a different time, usually a little bit further back in time. A few months ago we were all getting very excited about Betelgeuse, the star that was dimming, and maybe it was going to go supernova, and we were talking about it in the present tense. Maybe it will go, whereas actually the light that we're observing arrived, like it was emitted 650 years ago, give or take. So we're actually looking back. Every time we look up there, every time that we look out there, we're looking through time. And certainly when we're looking at stars, when we're looking at nebulae, when you're looking at those things, we're looking at things which are very long time ago. This ability to see through space and time is something which gives the Nawal Tz'ikin its properties, because it can be ahead of the game. It can be a bit like, I suppose, a bit like insider trading in a way. It got an idea about what's coming, and so it can invest its energy where it needs to. And for this, it brings prosperity. But equally as importantly, if not more importantly, is that it can see further through to where it's going. And when you can see that, you realise that it's not about investing for tomorrow, and it's not about investing for next week, it's about investing for next year, it's about investing for the next generation. And so Nawal Tz'ikin brings us this sustainable prosperity, and I think this is a really important thing about it, because it's creating something which is going to be long-lived. It's creating something which is not just for an immediate abundance. It's creating something for the next generation. It's a vision to take us forward. And so this brings us into the essence of this Trecena. because this Trecena begins with one Tz'ikin, a new vision. And I think that we could probably all agree that right now a new vision is what we're walking into. A new vision is what we have to have. However we look at it, our world wasn't exactly in the best shape, right? And now we're being forced to change, and it's bringing a lot of hardship for a lot of people. We have the ability to recreate things. We have the ability to bring a new vision in, a more sustainable vision, a vision maybe that's more compassionate towards people. So this is a possibility. After these last 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks were all governed by Ik, the last 13 days in the Trecena of Ik. Now we're moving into the Trecena of Tz'ikin. So Ik, as I was talking about before, can bring turmoil, can bring upset, can bring all sorts of unexpected things. Tz'ikin is saying, right, okay, we're dealt with that. Now, let's move forward. But let's look carefully at where we want to go, what we want to create, how we want to create a more sustainable and more prosperous future for all. So this is what we have the opportunity to do over the next couple of weeks. Now, we may all still be sitting in our homes. We may all be sitting, subjected to curfews or lockdowns, and this is exactly what we have here. Here I'm in my garden, so I'm not in public. I'm not wearing my mask because I'm not in public and that. But, you know, we're looking at things as like, how are we going to take it forward? And we have this time on our hands to think about what we want to take into our future, to envision the future that we want to create together, because this is our possibility, and this is now. This is something, our project, that we can work with as we go forwards, as we sit in our houses. Okay? So, how can we bring sustainability and prosperity to our communities? Well, this is a vision for each one of us to work on. And so, the Trecena of Tz'ikin is going to begin on the day 1 Tz'ikin. This is about a new vision. One, the birth of something, the beginning of something, novelty. Tz'ikin, vision, new vision. Okay? So, again, it's not going back over what we had before. It's not revisiting the past. It's about bringing something entirely new in. Bringing this new idea. How do you want to see the world? What new vision do you want to bring in for yourself, for your family, for your community? As we go forward, as we come out of the other side of this craziness that we're in right now, how are you going to re-envision yourself? How are you going to re-envision your life? What seeds do you want to plant right now to go towards a vision that you have for your future? For the future of your community, for the future of your family. From 1 Tz'ikin, we're then going to move into 2 Achmach. So, Achmach, the Nawal of forgiveness. Well, I think we all need a lot of that right now. We all need a lot of tolerance. We all need a lot of acceptance. The number 2, recognizing duality, recognizing separation. And perhaps we could see 2 Achmach as the resolution of duality and coming into oneness, accepting each other exactly as we are. Because nobody's acting quite right now, right? Sometimes we might have to pass through places where there's officials that want to see our papers. Maybe they don't want us to pass. Maybe they got the wrong message. Who knows what's going on? We have to remember that they have human hearts and that we're all in this together. And so as such, we need to accept things. We need to be forgiving. We might have our rights, our determination, where we need to go, what we need to do and all that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that we can just avoid that or anything like that, but it's accepting that people are scared, accepting that people are doing stuff right now that they wouldn't normally do. And so as a consequence, this is a time to accept the hearts of each other, to resolve duality, rather than to create duality, to be forgiving, to forgive each other, to forgive ourselves, to accept each other for the humanity that we are, and smile with it, accept the sweetness. Okay, so from 2 Achmach we then move into 3 Noach. So 3 Noach, what's that about? Noach, the mind, Noach, the brain, Noach, the problem solver. Noach, our knowledge. Okay, now what are we looking for? We're looking for this new vision. How does 3 Noach come in? Well, 3 Noach comes in because it's about looking inside for the knowledge that we already carry. It's about understanding that this is kind of like a way that we can refocus. Because a lot of us have been learning a lot of stuff over the years, over the time that we've been active, over the time that we've been adult. We're all carrying this vast amount of knowledge. We've been exposed to the internet, to Google, to all of these kind of things for years, amassing more knowledge than probably we've ever had in our lives. Now's the time to look inside and understand how to put it together. Because Noach, I sometimes refer to Noach as a bit like having a well-organised hard drive. Everything's well defragmented, you know. It's easy to access the information. It's easy to take that and create a new vision from that information that we have. And so all we got to do is look inside for it. This is a time when we're in this seclusion, when we're social distancing, when all of those kind of things are happening. This is a great time to be looking inside of ourselves. And here it's looking inside to find the knowledge that we have, that we can bring into that new vision, that we can use to plan, that we can use to solve the problems in the world. It's all already inside of us. So it's very much a home-focused day. It's also looking inside of ourselves for the knowledge that we can use within our homes. From 3 Noach, we then move into 4 Tihash. Tihash, the healing day. Tihash, the day on which we cut away that which is no longer necessary. This is a day to hone your vision. This is a day to understand what physical aspects, because it's the 4, it's all about the physical material plane, what physical aspects you can cut away in order to bring that new vision into being. What do you need to prune? What do you need to polish? How can you bring the best out of it? What physical tools might you need to cut away what is no longer relevant to you? Because I'm sure that in this time where we've had a chance to re-evaluate ourselves and our lives, we recognise we're carrying a lot of superfluous stuff that we don't need. We're carrying all this stuff which is excess to our requirements. We're carrying a lot of stuff which no longer holds relevance to who we are, what we do, or what we want to take forward. We've got a bunch of stuff which holds no relevance for our new vision. So 4 Tihash is a great day to use our discernment to cut away those things that no longer fit, so we can bring out the best, so that we can heal, and so that we can bring peace through our new vision. From 4 Tihash, we're going to go into 5 Kawok. So, Kawok, the rain, well, hopefully by 5 Kawok it will be raining properly here. And Kawok is the life bringer. Kawok reminds us that new birth is always going to come. Kawok is the storm, and sometimes the storm has to come in to wash away the debris of the old world so that the new world can come in. I mean, this is a very apt day, right? And I always see Kawok as washing away the debris that Tihash has cut away from our lives. So as we talk about bringing in this new vision, we can understand that Kawok comes in to help to clear away what we no longer need. We cut it, and now Kawok's going to wash it away, and it's going to provide the moisture that is needed. It's going to rain to germinate the seeds, because Kawok is also the midwife to the new life. So this is midwifing our vision. Now, what might we need? Well, it's carrying the 5, and the 5 is the number of work. And sometimes it might also feel like hard work, but what else have we got to do right now, right? So it's a time and a day to put your energy into understanding how you might clear the way for your new vision to be birthed into the world. From 5 Kawok, we're then going to 6 Achpu. 6 Achpu, a wonderful day of creation. Achpu, the path to the divine. Achpu helps us to see those higher aspects. Achpu helps us to look for those higher aspects within ourselves and others. to find our divine path. It's like, right, okay, we're setting our physical path, we're setting our physical vision, but also how is it going to help us to mature our souls? How is it going to help us on our hero's journey as we go through life? So Arpu gives us that sense. And when we combine it with the 6, well, this is taking something into the physical plane which is coming from above and below. It's coming from the divine masculine and divine feminine essences into this plane. So 6 Arpu we can see as a truly wonderful day when we can capture that energy, when we can get on with that particular energy. We really have the ability to bring something divine into our vision, bring something divine into the physical material world. So this is a day to hone that vision once more and see how we can incorporate it into a greater divinity. From 6 Arpu we're going to go into 7 Imosh. So Imosh, we're always going to be looking at the lake, at the water. Imosh is also the dream world. It's the world which we enter into every night. We could almost see it as the place from which the vision may originally emanate, because it's where our dreams come from. It's certainly a day to be grateful for your water, to be close to water, if you can be. It's certainly a day to draw your inspiration from the water. How might you bring this vision? How might you dream it into the world? And the number 7, well, the number 7 is the top of the pyramid. The number 7 represents endings. It represents finality. It can represent death as well. 7 Imosh could well be seen as the time to understand how to finalize your dream into that new vision. How to take your dreams and to make your choices, because when you're standing on top of those pyramids you can see in all sorts of directions, so it gives you the opportunity to understand and to choose which dream you want to bring into that vision. But choose you must, as they say. You can't sit still with it. You have to look and say, right, okay, yeah, that one's no longer relevant, these ones I want to take forward. So you can use this day to understand how to finalize your dreams. From 7 Imosh we're then going to go into 8 Ik. Ik, the day of the wind, the day of the new breath. Ik, the day of the breath of life. And certainly as we finish this Ik Trecena today, you know, the last ceremony that I made was on the beginning of this Trecena, because I like to make Trecena ceremonies as well, asking for the clean air, asking for the new breath. And what we've found since we've all been shut down for so long, since there's been no transport running, the air is cleaned up. Well, the air doesn't look like it's cleaned up here, but it's water vapour rather than smoke. So this is the way that we can use an Ik day for communication. This is a day when we can ask Ahau Ik to bring us the clear breath, to bring us the fresh breath, to help us to use our lungs, to bring clear air into our lungs. And 8 Ik is the day of ceremony for this. It's a day of ceremony to give thanks for the breath of life. It's a day of ceremony to give thanks for the fresh air that we breathe. It's a day of ceremony to give thanks for our ability to communicate, because Ik, that divine breath, is also about our ability to communicate, to use our words clearly, to inspire. So 8 Ik is really all about that. It's all about taking a moment, taking some time to use our words to inspire those around us, taking some time to give thanks for the breath of life in our lungs. And you know, when we make ceremony, okay, you don't have to make a 3-hour Mayan ceremony with all the candles and the incense. I mean, you can if you want to, but just light a candle and say thank you. Take some time just to reflect on what it means to draw clear air into your lungs. what it means to have this breath of life within you. So from 8 Ik, we're then going into 9 Aqbal. And 9 Aqbal, well, this way is east. This way is the way of the sunrise. Aqbal, the dawn, the twilight, the bringing of the new concept into the world. Now, of course, new concept fits in very well with our new vision, right? And the number 9 is the number of life. It's the number of the divine feminine. We can see it as 9 Aqbal, the new concept for life, the new life concept that you may be bringing in. This is something that we may come to, that we may understand, that we may bring in through connecting with the dawn and the dusk. 9 Aqbal would be a great day, if it's permitted in your country, to go and watch the sunrise from wherever vantage point you can. Certainly a great day to watch the sunset, maybe even from your house or wherever it is, because it's at these times that Aqbal is most active. And it's at these times when we can draw on the inspiration from sunrise, from sunset. Now, one of the things that was once said in a ceremony by a dear friend of mine is that Aqbal reminds us that the new day is always coming. The sun is always going to rise in the east. The light will always come back. And even when we're in the darkest times, the light is always going to come back. And what do we have? 9 Aqbal. This is the new life coming back. So this gives us a great opportunity to conceive how our new life might be, to how we can bring that in. From 9 Aqbal, we are then going to go into 10 Kat. So Kat, the net with which we harvest the bounty from our gardens. Maybe we've all been planting gardens furiously and getting all of that kind of thing done. Kat gives us the opportunity to both plant and harvest. It is this, when we see the glyph for it, we can see that it's like a seed being dropped into the ground, preparing us for the harvest. But Kat is also rather like Tihash. It's about going through our bag and seeing what we want to carry, seeing what is going to sustain us as we move into this new vision, and what we no longer need to carry in our net, what's holding us back. Where are our burdens? Cat days are great days to be setting yourself free from the burdens that you carry. Cat days are great days to celebrate our liberty, which I guess that many of us right now will have a great celebration when we're free to move, when we're free to go wherever we want to, whenever we want to. Now, we recognise now, yes, it's a right, but it's also a luxury that we have, because there are people in various countries that don't have the same rights that we have all the time, and that don't have the liberty that we have. And I think we all kind of like now really appreciate our liberty to go out and go and do stuff. And Cat is a day to ask for our liberty. Cat is a day to set ourselves free from those bonds. Cat is a day to release ourselves from the net, to release ourselves from the burdens that we carry. So Cat is something where we can look at what we want to hold on to. What strings do we want to stay attached to? Cat helps us to understand what we're bonded to, what we're attached to, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. What are we still attached to? What can we carry forward in our new vision? And what can we leave behind? Now, the interesting thing with 10 Cat is that 10 represents this. It represents community. It represents agreements. It represents coming together. And so 10 Cat is certainly a day to be making agreements within your community about how you're going to take your vision forward. It's a day to look at what you're attached to within your community, what you can let go of from your community, and how you can all move forward together. So from 10 Cat, we're going to go into 11 Can. Now this could be a bit of a wild day. Can representing the energy of the serpent, Can representing the lightning energy, the lightning in the blood, the ki, the chi, the kundalini, however we might look at it. And so can represent power, and can represent wisdom. Now, The number 11, as I said before, can sort of be seen like a rocket with a broken stick. You don't know which direction it's going to go in next, but whichever direction it's going in with all that force that the rocket carries. And so 11 can certainly be a day to be very careful about the way that you direct your energy, because it might be a bit stronger and, let's say, less consciously directed than you originally intended. It's also a day to be prepared. Keep your senses awake, keep your senses open. Allow your ki, your energy, to act as a field around you, to be more sensitive to what's going on, because it might be a time when the rocket's coming in your direction. You have to get out of the way quick. Okay? So certainly be prepared for strong, powerful, forceful changes on 11 can. Be aware that those things might be flying around. It's also a day to see through illusion. Now, one of the things about the 11, I sort of see it as going in many different directions and picking up and understanding how this bit helps and how that information helps and that information helps and that information helps. And the thing about can is it's when we use our wisdom to see through manipulation and to see through illusion. So this could be a day when things are revealed, when we might have some kind of revelation over an illusion that may have been put over to us by those who wish to have power over us. From 11 can, we then move into 12 kame. Kame is the Nawal of death, it's the Nawal of transformation, it is the Nawal of facing our fears. It's also the Nawal which relates to our ancestors, because of course this is relating to the spirit world, the spirit ancestors. So, 12 kame we could see as being the day on which we use the number 12, which represents all of our life experiences coming together and helping us to overcome our fears. Kame gives us these opportunities. Kame kind of like, it wants us to succeed. It wants us to move forward. It wants us to overcome our fears so that we can step up to the next level. And when we're bringing in a new vision, well, this is not something to be taken lightly, is it? This is something where, of course there's going to be fears along the way. If there wasn't any fears along the way, it's probably not a very good vision. You've got to kind of like have something to overcome. Something which brings the challenge in. Something which makes it all worthwhile. Something which makes you understand that you are pushing the boundaries. 12 kame may well bring those things up. It may well bring those fears up. But the 12 says, well look, yes, it's bringing them up for a reason, because you've collected all of this life experience, all of this understanding, so that you can overcome these fears, so that you can move up to the next level, so that you can bring that vision into life. So it's about time that you did. Okay, so don't be surprised if on a 12 kame day the fears come up. But it also suggests that you have all the tools, all the knowledge and all the experience at your disposal to overcome them. And perhaps with the assistance of your ancestors, move forward, move through them, move up a level. It's going to help you to bring in your true vision. And then finally, this Trecena of Tz'ikin is going to finish up on the day 13 Giyah. So, around me here, I have the mountains. Around me here, it's not exactly a wilderness place. We're between two little towns, really. But it's quite wilderness when we compare it to the urban sprawl of some of the larger nations, let's say. And what do we get from being around the wilderness? Well, we start to understand the way that nature works. We connect with the natural world, we connect with the trees, with the rocks, we connect with the animals, with the birds. And we learn through those. And we understand how we are a part of that natural world. And as a part of that natural world, we have to look after it. One of the things that we've seen is kind of like in the last few weeks, we've seen kind of like a re-greening of the world, where we've learnt to live a lot more lightly, or rather, we've been enforced to live a lot more lightly. We can maybe connected more with the natural state. Maybe we're being connecting more with the plant kingdom. And so, this is all governed by Kech. And Kech brings us our strength. Kech also brings us our connection to spiritual leadership. And that's not just the spiritual leaders around the world. You know, many of them are helping their followers right now, making their talks, their inspirational videos. And really it's kind of like about identifying it within ourselves, because we all have the capacity within ourselves to do that. To act as counsel, to listen to each other, to help each other out, help each other to move up a level. Now, Kech always suggests getting out into nature. Whether that's possible for you right now or not, I don't know. But in some ways, if you can connect with the natural world, that's a great use of the Kech day. Now, this day, 13 Kech, is a very, very strong day, because Kech is one of the strongest Nawalas, and obviously 13 is the strongest number. It's also the number of the spirit world and the number of the ancestors. And so what we see here is the connection with the spiritual leaders of our ancestors. Maybe it's a connection with the spirits of those leaders. Maybe it's a time to go back and look through your, well, whatever kind of spiritual literature you might choose to follow, and connect with those people who wrote it hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago maybe. Maybe it's also a time to connect with the spirit of nature in whichever way you can. Maybe it's just about going out in your garden and connecting with whatever plants, whatever natural world that you can find. 13 Kech is certainly a day when the ancestors may be talking through the natural world, so pay attention for the signs that you may receive from nature. So, that was the Trecena of Tz'ikin. I hope that it brings you a great new vision that you can take forward. A vision of hope, a vision of new life, a vision that's better than the last vision that you had. Thank you for listening, and I'll make another video in 13 days' time.